Welcome to the Clermont Commissioners meeting for March the 10th, 2025. Prior to starting our official meeting, we always ask for local clergy to come and lead us in prayer. This morning is no different. Dee Dee Bacon is here from Bach-Buxton Christian Center. Dee Dee, thanks for being here. The podium's yours. If you would do the honors, please.
Thank you, David. So I was thinking in preparing for leading prayer on this, there's a connection made in the Proverbs, the wisdom literature of Proverbs, between the decisions of government leadership and the well-being of the people. And it just points to the burden that you all carry. And I just want to say how much I appreciate that. You probably hear more of the complaints. And I think it's good that you hear also the appreciation that you're doing a great job and putting yourself out there. It's not an easy task. Requires wisdom definitely from above. And I appreciate that. So Proverb reads 29:2, when the righteous thrive, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people groan. So let's pray. Lord, we just pray that you would help this group with wisdom, the wisdom they need to make the decisions they have to make in providing leadership for our community as they decide on things that pertain to Clermont County. Pray that you be with the commissioners, the support staff, administration, that you would guide them, that they would make right decisions. That's what it means to be righteous. The right decisions that will honor and honor you and honor the people of this community so that they will rejoice and flourish and prosper. Pray the decisions that are made specifically today in today's meeting and conversations that are had will be done in a manner that will truly be wise and good and right. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Corcoran, do you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This meeting's called to order. We will start with our pre-provided agenda. Letter B, approval of regular session minutes of 3/5/2025. Board, you've had these minutes early, had an opportunity to review them. Are there any changes or revisions that need to be made to the minutes?
No.
Then I would accept a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
A second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. We move now to our public participation. Letter C. During this time, the board does not answer questions nor engage in debate. No member of the public may comment about a matter that is not within the purview of the county commissioner's responsibilities. The commissioners are not expected to comment on matters brought to the board during this time. However, commissioners, you are free to comment if you would like. Each speaker will speak only once and be recognized by the board president before speaking. In accordance with the board's rules, your comments will be limited to 5 minutes. The total session will be limited to 30 minutes. Do we have anyone that would like to speak to the board today? Mr. Hicks? State your name and your address.
My name is Christopher Hicks. I live at 444 Woodward Court, Cincinnati, Ohio. Thanks again for the chance to speak. Last time I was here, I presented a honor pledge for Clermont County elected officials, and none of you would sign it. It had 10 items on it. They were all based on real things that have happened in our county. Judge Kramig using his subordinate for his own sexual gratification in and out of the courthouse. The Greg Carson's theft from Clermont Senior Services that was covered up by Prosecutor DeColvey until it wasn't. I even think as far back as Carl Lamping, the head of the building department that at one time condemned a house and then had his son get involved and made money off of a condemned house that the building department condemned. There's been lots of stuff like this. I could go through the whole list. You've got Greg Simpson, who was on the Port Authority, who issued threats to my son and me. So, and then lied to detectives about it on a video that's got like 6,000 views. If you go to my YouTube and look at it, I thought maybe some of you support some of those things. Maybe I had it all together, and that was a problem. I should have separated it out. Maybe one of you supports having sex with subordinates in the workplace. Maybe that's cool. Maybe lying in an interview with detectives is cool for some of you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take them each one by one. Then I'm gonna hand them down, and you can sign them individually. So this one says, I condemn elected officials, government employees, party committee members, or their spouses resorting to violence, making any threat of violence, encouraging any other person to resort to violence or threats of violence. So I'll hand that down. So any of you that agree with that could go ahead and sign it. Second one, I condemn, notice Claire passing it down. See, none of them will sign something that says that simple thing. Second one, I condemn elected officials, government employees, party committee members, or their spouses using unattributed anonymous swift boat tactics, personal and false light and unfair. Mr. Painter is well aware of those tactics of having anonymous sources reveal things about people from their past.
I think you are too.
So why don't you condemn it? You just said I am too. Why don't you condemn it? I absolutely condemn it. It's funny that you won't. Third one,
I don't think it's funny.
I condemn elected. I want to make sure, because you take a little bit of my time, but you can respond.
Oh, I'll give you time.
Okay. I condemn elected officials, government employees, party committee members, or their spouses lying in any law enforcement interview. That's what Greg Simpson did. The sheriff wanted to charge him, but the prosecutor wouldn't allow him to be charged. That's the way we roll in Clermont County. Greg Simpson's a connected man. It's okay. He can do whatever he wants. The fourth one, I condemn elected officials or government employees engaging in sex acts with subordinates during the workday. Notice I'm making it very specific, during the workday and subordinates. So you can engage in sex acts with peers and outside the workday. I'm not going to even introduce those, but let's see if any of you will sign that you condemn government employees engaging in sex acts with subordinates during the workday. Look at it. Pass right down. Pass right down. Fifth one, I condemn elected officials or government employees participating in or not reporting any corrupt or illegal act, or participating in or not reporting any waste, fraud, or abuse. You know, these are supposed to be Republicans, right? Republicans right now are supposed to be all about getting corrupt activities and waste, fraud, and abuse out of government. Let's see how our Republican leaders do on this one. Hand it on down. Claire, no sign. David, no sign. Bonnie, no sign. This is just another example that'll keep coming here about the depravity of our elected officials. They choose not to sign off on the most basic things. They could have done it the last meeting. I want to be here right now. They would have taken away my ammunition, but they won't do it. They want to have, this is the hill that they want to die on, that they refuse to condemn sex acts with subordinates in the workplace. They refuse to condemn lying in law enforcement investigations and interviews. It's pathetic. I want to close with one final thing. You guys never see this. You used to say this to me. I'm never disappointing when I talk. You're never disappointing. You're all never disappointing.
Mr. Hicks, you continue to try to become significant in this county. It's not that anyone here thinks that they would do anything against the law. It's just they're not going to sign a pledge for you. I myself am not going to sign anything.
Well, will you verbally right now, each of you, since you bring it up, Mr. Painter, go down the line and yourselves make a statement that you oppose those things? Without signing anything, just make a verbal, David, just make a verbal statement that you are against sex acts in the workplace and the government.
I've already told you.
When? You haven't told me anything about that.
I told you I'm not going to sign anything that you brought.
I didn't ask him to sign. Okay. See the way it works? I didn't ask. I said, just verbally renounce it. He won't even verbally renounce it. By the way, the other thing we need in Clermont County, which I volunteered to get a crack team together on, is Doge Clermont County. My wife even made a logo that has the Clermont County emblems in there. Imagine if we in Clermont County actually got rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. I could get $600,000 to $800,000 out on just the shelter because they gave up $1 million in fundraising in the crazy plan to take it away from a humane society. Imagine if we could take it out. You know how you could reduce taxes? You could cut the sales tax, the county portion of the sales tax. You could take away the plate fee, okay? And you could put levies on to reduce some of the county levies. That's what Trump-like Republicans are all fighting for right now. What's so funny, they won't fight for any of that here. But again, I'm glad. I guarantee you I can get a crack group of people and save tens of millions of dollars probably just in this county government and be able to reduce taxes.
Is that what you said? It's got to be you, right? This board is not going to.
Yeah, because I think, you know what, to be honest, David,
hold on a minute.
you asked a
This
question.
board-
You just asked a
This
question.
board is not going to appoint you to a Doge committee
Why not?
because we're not.
Because you don't want to save tens of millions of dollars and reduce taxes for taxpayers. You never met a tax you didn't like.
Mr. Hicks, you have every right to run
Why
for
not?
office. Do so. Do so.
Mr. Painter, you are a coward to actually do
There's
the things
no
that
coward
Republicans
here.
are fighting for right
No
now.
coward here, Mr.
So who else could be a
If
Doge
you
committee?
want to run for office, run
So
for office.
notice the change of subject. So I just said we
You're-
could reduce taxes by cutting tens of millions of dollars. His answer is because it's Chris Hicks, he could never be on a Doge committee. By the way, I would be the most credible person to be on a Doge committee.
That's
Okay?
debatable.
Because they don't care about reducing citizens' taxes. They don't care. It's more important to them, the puffery, and it's got to always change it to something else. You can run for office. You can do this to evade and distract from the reality that this government wastes a shitload of money. The entire government is run the way they run the animal shelter, and there is unbelievable opportunity for savings in Clermont County. But add to it all that these guys are not even remotely Trump Republicans. They only
Okay.
act like Trump
Mr.
Republicans
Hicks,
when they
I've
need
let
you to get votes.
I've let you run over. Your time is up.
All right. Thank you,
Well, I
guys.
give you the
Appreciate it,
time.
David.
Thank you.
You never disappoint.
I don't. And your comments are always so relevant for the people of Clermont County. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet. Anyone else would like to speak? Go right ahead. Tell us your name and your address.
I'm going to take things in a little different direction.
Hope so.
Maybe. Julie Tolliver, Batavia Township. So, we're heading into a time of uncertainty. For sure, economic uncertainty. From what the Trump administration is saying, there will be some contraction, some recession, or even depression as the new economic and world order models are implemented. Loud and clear, we hear that we can expect to feel some economic pain in the short term, and we're assured that it will be worth it in the long term because at least some of us will get rich. We have Doge efforts standing up more locally. I think Gene Schmidt has an initiative. I'm sure the county is following suit. In Clermont County, we have a good number of veterans, farmers, retirees, blue-collar workers, low-income families, dependents, students, disabled, and homeless folks and families. All of these groups and more will be negatively affected by the contractions resulting from Doge, the tariffs, and the reversal of some of the policies that your constituents have depended on for survival and their way of life for years. I suspect the homeless demographic will grow in both individuals and families. What's the plan? How are we going to handle this? How are we going to stay safe and confident, united, proud? You're thinking about all this, right? David, I understand you're maybe the chairperson of the Republican Party in Clermont County, so you're obligated to advancing the goals of the party. And you're county commissioner and board president, so obligated to advancing the goals of the county and all of your constituents. I thought about what the gentleman said last week, that one, who spoke after me, and yes, that does seem to be an inherent conflict of interest, perhaps an ethical dilemma. Thanks for nodding.
Julie, there's no ethical dilemma.
In the case that there, my time, sir, unless you'd like to talk about it.
Your time is my time.
Not your time.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
In the case that there are some partisan mandates that might negatively affect the county, who will you stand for and where is your loyalty? Your time.
My loyalty is to the citizens of Clermont County.
And the Republican
And you
Party.
know that.
In the case of a partisan mandate that might negatively affect, you would make a choice. With your other positions, it sounds like you have a lot on your plate and you must be very busy. Those are a lot of hats to wear. Now, maybe you take a back seat to Miss Batchelor, Miss Corcoran. Maybe they're the true leaders. But judging from social media presence, it sure doesn't seem that way. Speaking of which, Facebook seems to be the primary way the county communicates with the community, at least those of us who are on Facebook. Do you know those numbers, by the way? Anyway, you seem to rely on a privately held platform that controls access and algorithms to communicate with us. Well, not with, but to, and not much, a little. It's a shame we don't have discourse in real life as a community anymore. We don't know each other face to face. We don't know each other's facial expressions or the sound of our voices unless we come here. We lose tone and intention in our discourse. David, on Facebook, you seem very condescending and even cruel to your constituents, but maybe you're not. Maybe that's just how social media is. Your community should know. We should know who you are and how you are. We should know what your plan is to lead this county through the changes that are coming. As elected leaders, that's your job. You're here to serve us. Now, you have your budget, you have your plan, but this administration's obviously changing those plans. Your constituents need to know what those changes are so that we can plan our lives accordingly. If we all know what the plan is, we can all work the plan together and it will eliminate a lot of the fear and indecision that we feel right now. I'm asking again for a series of regular town hall presentations where you can communicate our revised plans, field questions and inputs from constituents, and seek to understand the concerns, fears, and even capacity of our community to weather the storm together. We might bring a lot to the table if you were to just open the floor. Might that be contentious starting out? Probably, but over time, that'll die down. We'll be left with just stronger support for our community if done right. I also hope we can count on you to communicate with us regularly going forward. Those town halls, maybe twice a month, one in the morning and one evening, about the animal shelter plans in progress. The frustration in our community is still here, intense and very palpable. I don't know what it might take to restore the community's trust in you, but I do know the same lack of communication isn't going to do it. Please let us know your plans and include as many of us as possible so we can carry the word forward to the community for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. We will move on with our regular agenda. Board, we're at letter D, the consent agenda. Consent agenda has been provided for you. It's been forwarded early. You've had time to consider it and look over it. Are there any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda for further discussion?
None at this time.
Then I'd ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as provided.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved in second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, we'll move on to the non-consent agenda, starting with item 10.
Morning, Board.
Morning.
Item 10 is a recommendation. This is to adopt resolution number 2125, authorizing Jeremy Evans, the county engineer, to execute a local public authority, federal local lead project agreement. This is agreement number 42197 between the county engineer and the state of Ohio. The funds that are coming from the state are federal funds from the Federal Highway Administration relative to the LPA Bridge Load Rating Project. It's an estimated total project cost of $61,559. The federal share will be 80%. The other 20% will be covered by the county MV&G funds.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 10. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I will second.
It's been moved in second. Anything further? Roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item number 11.
Item 11 is a recommendation authorize Jeremy P. Evans, county engineer, or his designee to execute service order forms with Verizon Connect out of Atlanta, Georgia, with the prior consent from the prosecuting attorney for each service order form for a vehicle tracking and driver ID and engine connect, driver style, and 30-second plotting for any of the vehicles determined by the county engineer's operation that are necessary. These will be paid for by the Motor Vehicle and Gas Tax Fund with an initial term of 12 months from the subscription start date, automatic 1-month renewals until either party provides written notice of termination in compliance with terms and conditions. If you remember, we have put those on our dump trucks. We did not put them on every dump truck that we use because of the age of the dump truck and the fact that it wouldn't connect as well. So as we replace those vehicles and get the new vehicles in, we're going to be adding a few more so that ultimately we have every one of our dump trucks with the tracking on it.
So Sugi, this just means that you don't have to come back every single time. you
Right.
wanna add a
This
vehicle.
will allow us. These are online orders. Verizon sends them to us. They want a online electronic signature before they go back. The order terms are the same on every one of these, and the rate's been established by a. I think it was a cooperative agreement that Verizon did. So we're using those state or federal. I can't even remember which cooperative, but we're using those rates. So we use this a lot during our snow routes so we can see where the vehicles are and who we could send if we have any issues.
Yep. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 11. Do I have a motion for approval?
I will make that motion. I will second.
Been moved and second. Any further clarification?
Just thank you for doing that. Thank you. Take care of it.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item number 12.
Item number 12 is a recommendation to designate Sandra Tahat as the voting designee and Teresa Igo as the voting designee alternate for the County Employee Benefit Consortium of Ohio, which is known as SEBCO. It's the annual membership meeting for calendar year 2025.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. A second.
It's been moved and second. Anything further? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Letter F, additions to the agenda.
No addition, sir.
Okay. Then we will move to letter G, requesting an executive session pursuant to section 121.22 G1, 121.22 G4, and 121.22 G6 of the Ohio Revised Code to first consider the employment or compensation of a public employee or more public employees. Second, preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations of bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment. And three, to discuss details relative to the security arrangements and emergency response protocols for a public body or public office. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Make the motion. Second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. We will move to executive session. We will return and conduct further business. Thank you. Return from executive session, there were no decisions made and no actions taken. We will move on with our regular scheduled agenda. We are at letter H, county staff and elected official discussion. Angie Livesay, Deputy Assistant County Administrator, is here for an animal shelter update. Morning.
Morning, board. Just
I
have
should say afternoon, right?
afternoon, yeah. Just have a couple quick updates for you regarding the kennel. What I'm here largely to talk about is our population. We've skyrocketed over the past couple of weeks. I believe we took in 37 strays in 2 weeks. That is very abnormal for us, but I have learned pretty on par with what everyone else is doing in the area. So we've managed that a few different ways. Our current population as of this morning was 47 in-house. We are working with partner rescues. We took 4 dogs to the League for Animal Welfare on Friday. I believe we had 2 more leave this morning to a different rescue. So we're very, very appreciative of our rescue partners. As well, you know that you approved an adoption rate decrease for the month of March, which will also help us manage these numbers. The other thing I wanted to talk about, as you know, we have a kennel supervisor on staff now, and I have tasked that person with helping me arrange the volunteer orientation so we can get those going again. So Ursula's going to come up in 1 second. We're going to show you our updated webpage. Ursula, if you want to come on up. We are going to be able to have people kind of pre-register for orientation so we know that they're interested, and then we will schedule them. We're going to try to limit our registration to about 10 per training group to make sure that we're training people and getting a chance to interact with everyone. So the orientations will start in April. And we will have a couple of Saturdays as well as some weekdays, and then we'll keep them going from that point on. So Ursula has been working a lot on making our webpage much more user-friendly. So I'll let you talk about it from here.
Good afternoon. So I gave you all an introduction to this a couple of weeks ago, and now we've launched it and it's live. So within the confines of the content management system that we have, I think this is a lot prettier and more user-friendly. It's easier to see. And I've been working with just a variety of people, having them look at it and give me guidance and thoughts on it. So hopefully you like it. But David, so all these buttons you see, the blue buttons, those are all clickable that take you to a page that's relevant to what it says. And they all do that. And and then you can see it goes to Pet Finder and Facebook. And then we scroll down a little more, and we have some videos that we keep adding to. David, we've done a couple. And these are to try to help our long-term residents. And in addition to this, we're also going to be doing some new stuff with the Clermont County Public Library, where we're going to have a nice branded flyer that shows any of our dogs that are long-term residents, so that hopefully that gets new eyes, new faces on it, and it's free. So it's you can't get any cheaper than that. So so that's a good way, and I think having a better website is also a good cost-effective way to help get the word out and share information. So again, all those blue buttons are all clickable, and then if you just want to scroll down to the bottom, we have to the lower right, we're calling it our virtual tour. Keep going just a little bit, David. Yeah, and that's a photo gallery of images of the shelter, just because people who aren't familiar with it don't know what it looks like. So those are some interior and exterior images. And we got ideas from other shelter websites. We didn't do it in a vacuum. So tried to come up with things that we thought were important to people. So it's a living, breathing site, though. We can add and change if we need to or want to. We've got frequently asked questions there. So lots of different. Yeah. So hopefully the community and the public find it helpful. We also, as Angie talked about, we also have a web page. It's not on this site. It's on Constant Contact, but it's an online submission form for those people who are returning or wanting to become new volunteers. And then that puts it into a spreadsheet for us on the back end. And then Angie's team reaches out to those who want to volunteer to talk to them about scheduling training. So it's just a, contemporary way to connect with people. We're also going to create a flyer with a QR code so that anybody who's in the shelter can just use the QR code to go directly to that if they're interested in volunteering or getting training. So hopefully it's helpful.
Thank you, David. Thank you. And that's all I had for you.
Angie, just a question. Not too long ago, somebody came in the shelter and looked at the book, to see what dogs were in foster and what dogs were available. Some of the information wasn't updated. You're probably familiar with that. Did
Mhm.
you look into that and
Yeah.
have that updated?
Yeah, they I don't really know how that happened because that's one of the constant things that they're always making sure is up to date. So we missed it somewhere, I guess. But they're very much on it because we all want our dogs to get adopted as much as anybody. So
Sure.
thank you.
There's some kind of technical glitch that we're working on between the data getting transferred from the software that the shelter uses, which is called Shelter Love. And there's a process that happens going to Pet Finder, and Pet Finder seems to be one of the more popular. There's several of them out there, but one of the more popular online tools when somebody does a search, Clermont County, whatever they're looking for a dog, it'll pop up. But there's some kind of data issue that's not translating correctly. So that is top on my list to work on this week to try to figure that out. So that'll help with this, because my understanding is that they also have at the shelter the hard copy binder that they're talking about, but then there's the online counterpart to it.
In there, it seemed to be some access. There were some access glitches that were in there too. A lot of people had access to a couple.
Yeah, we kind of wonder if that hasn't contributed to the problem. There were like a dozen different people, and we've narrowed that down. Angie narrowed that down to just a select few, because whenever you've got behind the scenes stuff going on and multiple people, we've updated with a specific county email address, so we don't have a Gmail out there. So we're trying to professionalize it and streamline it. So it just takes a little bit of time to go through each step. But yeah, hopefully that reduction in the number of people using that software will help as well.
So Angie, before you get away, just talk about shelter supervisor, that kind of stuff that's going on right now.
Yes, so we had our kennel supervisor start a couple of weeks ago. She's off to a really great start. She is working on the volunteer orientations, as I said, as well as formalizing some of our other policies and procedures and that kind of thing. And then for the kennel administrator, we're in the interview process and have some really promising candidates.
Okay. Anything else, board?
No. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you. Any other county staff, elected officials updates?
No, sir.
Okay. Then we will move to member comments. Board member comments. Any comments today?
No.
Nope. All right. We will move to J. I would ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make the motion to adjourn. I will second.
Then moved and second. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Thank you for being in attendance today and joining us on this beautiful day of March the 10th, 2025. We will see you Wednesday. Thank you.